Welcome to the Counselor Overview for setting up custom pricing for specific payers, such as HSP. Now, if we were to create an invoice for this patient right now, it would of course go with our typical pricing, our retail pricing, otherwise known as usual customary pricing. Um, but we're going to show in this overview how you can set things up behind the scenes. So when you create a new invoice for a specific payer, such as HSP, it can assume the proper pricing. All right, so we'll begin by clicking on Administration in the top menu bar, and then select Line Item List. In this case, we're going to go directly to hearing aids. This may apply to other products and services, but we're going to focus here on hearing aids. So we're going to go ahead and take just the first one on the list. This, of course, these can be edited for any existing hearing aids or any products and services. This also can be added for new devices or product services you're adding to your list. But so we're going to take this first one on the list here and then select Fee Schedule. The Fee Schedule tab is going to show us every payer that we have set up in our account here. Now, if you look at this list and find that you need to add more or perhaps modify this list, you can certainly do so anytime by clicking on Administration, scrolling down here to Payer Types. And this is where you'll be able to create new payers, edit existing, or disable ones that you no longer wish to have on your list. Point being is what you have there in your payer type list will then show up here. So for this single device, you could go through and you could set up a specific price, for example, for DVA, HSP, whatever it is that you wish to set it up for, okay? If you do not enter anything, then it will automatically assume the retail price, right? So if you add this item, this hearing aid to an invoice and it's HSP, well, then it will take the HSP price. So in this case, we're going to say, this is $2,400 for the retail price. Just to make something simple here, we're going to say $1,800. Okay, so that means that when we create an invoice and HSP is the payer, it will automatically insert $1,800 instead of $2,400. But if we have DVA as the payer or private payer, whatever the case may be, other than this, it'll stay with the standard $2,400. Okay, so as I mentioned, you can do this one by one for each device, particularly if you want to set up pricing across multiple payers. That can be a quick way to do it. Or there's just a limited number of items of devices you want to update. There also is a quicker way of doing this. So I'm going to click on Save here just to lock in that change for that device. If, once again, you're saying, gosh, I've got a lot of devices here, I want to be able to add that custom, let's say HSP pricing very quickly, you can go to Actions in the top menu bar and then select Mass Update Fee Schedule. By the way, if you're not familiar with the Mass Update tools, I do encourage you to take a look at them. They can be very handy for updating your particular hearing aid lists very, very quickly. But we're going to focus here on the Mass Update Fee Schedule. Now what's going to happen is it's going to ask us, okay, which payer do you want to look at? So let's focus on HSP. When we click there, it's going to show us all of our hearing aids. So that long list we just saw before all devices, except it's zeroing in on the HSP payer. So here you can see that Beltone Amaze already has the $1,800 modification, right? So kind of the override, you can think of it in that way. So you can go through, you can put in as many as you want. Once again, if you do not enter anything, then it will automatically just assume whatever the retail price is. So you do not have to enter things here, only if you want to. Okay, so for the second one, let's go ahead and just do the same here. Whoops. There we go, and we'll save. Okay, and we can then move on to the next pair if you wanted, right, and do the same thing. Now you notice for DVA, these two devices do not have anything in because I just had that specifically for HSP. Okay, so let's back out of this. Let's go back to the patient that we were just looking at, and let's see this in action. So for Angel, I'm going to go ahead and create a new invoice. Very importantly, in the payer type, I'm going to go ahead and select HSP. Okay, and then I'll go ahead and just pick GST. Let's go ahead then and click Save. All right, so we've created our invoice. CounselEAR now knows that this invoice type is HSP, or I'm sorry, the payer type is HSP. So we go ahead and we grab hearing aid. There we go. And let's grab the first one on the list. Okay, now watch closely here. The retail price is $2,400, but when I select this, it comes up with, wait for it, sorry, but pause there, just for extra drama, $1,800. Okay, so this enables you to say, hey, I want to create a claim, an HSP claim, for a specific, hearing aid, but I want to have modified pricing. And so right away, there's our 1,800 instead of the 2,400. From there, you go about your normal process, right? You add the devices. At this point, we don't know these details, so we're going to simply just add this device. We can copy this to then have the second device. Once again, it brought over the 1,800. You can add information if you have it. If you don't, that's fine. Okay, now we have our two devices in place. Now we're going to add, and you can do these in different order too. You certainly can add the services first. That's not a problem, but I'll go ahead and add the 640 in this case. There it is. Okay, and now we'll go ahead and add that, sorry. And then we'll see on the last step here, well, I'm sorry, second to last step, payments. This is going to take into account the total amount due, the patient amount due, otherwise known as the top-up, and the insurance due. So the breakdown here shows you the HSP benefit. So this is the two devices. So the HSP benefit for each device added together, plus the 640 HSP benefit, works out here to 1,507.95. The difference between the 1,800 per device plus the amount for the 640. So if you take this minus this, you get the top up of 2,702.50. Okay, then if we jump to the claim screen, we're going to see that we have that information. Now, at this point, we can't submit our claim, of course, because we've not entered the ear, we have not entered the fitting date, so this isn't ready to be claimed yet. But point being is this information will carry over once we have entered that information. Okay, so if you have any questions about how to set up your fee schedule, how to customize this pricing, please let us know, live chat with us, send us a ticket, shoot us an email. We are always happy to help. So thank you very much for joining us for the overview video for how to set customized pricing for specific payers.